I would love to start out just with your point of view. You talked about, Steve, how we need to think about rethinking demand performance and what we're actually tracking and understanding that the what you called hidden influence factors to growth. So I'll turn it over to you to explain what you're thinking about on that front.
Sure. Yeah, so my thinking there has evolved a little bit over time, right? As you get your hands dirty, you kind of understand the different impacts that things are having. First and foremost, it was coming in with a very strong sentiment that those vanity metrics that a lot of traditional marketers used to track on a regular basis genuinely did not have a lot of meaning for the broader organization. There's certainly leading indicators, but coming in and justifying the spend and the programs that you're running by talking about impressions and click through rates, it's not good. I got it. My first thing that I did with the group is really just work with everybody to understand how are we measuring whether the things that we're doing are actually driving meaningful impact for the business. So we went from MQLs and your traditional metrics to what is our pipeline that's progressing to a high propensity to close looking like? What is the quality of the pipeline we're driving? How does it behave? Is it predictable? What are we driving in bookings? That really got us to some very meaningful decisions and some efficiencies about where we spend the dollars that we're spending. We're no longer doing things that you're supposed to do because that's what marketers do. You're doing things that were really going to drive business impact. But in that process, we learned that we were cutting ourselves short a little bit in that you can get over rotated around the way in which you're measuring some things. So, for example, if you're only looking at first and last touch attribution, which a lot of companies do to reflect the value of marketing spend, you're not understanding the really complex dynamic of an actual customer experience. It's not a funnel, it's not linear. And there's a lot of things that happen between them coming into your database and them signing up for an opportunity that have huge meaning and value and maybe are not showing up in your reporting infrastructure. We learned that as an example, we're using a tool that gives us visibility into the entire buyer's journey. And we realized about 25% of our opportunities that closed engage with at least 2 to 3 regional activities throughout the cycle of becoming a lead and becoming an opportunity. So there's a huge, very critical component of the experience that we had de-invested or deprioritized because it wasn't showing up in our initial reporting structure. So heading to, you've got to start, yes, reporting is important and your data is important, but so is the actual real live practical experience people are having. And you have to be able to justify and understand the impact that those types of activities have and hold that line and be able to have that conversation in an educated way.